Israel, the promised land, the land of milk and honey, the land that was promised to Moses and his followers in the Bible. The Israel of the past is mixed in with the Israel of today. In 1948, when Israel was given the land by the UN, all the Christians in the world rejoiced. They thought this was the first step towards what they called the end of the world. Why is this so important? According to the Bible, Israel will have a vital role in the end of the world. Many Christians believe that by giving Israel back to the Jews, they had fulfilled the idea that God was bringing the Jews back to their homeland. This in some Christian churches is seen as a step towards Jesus coming back. This also plays a role in the idea that the Antichrist will set up his reign in the Holy Temple in Jerusalem in order to trick everyone into following him. If anyone was raised in a church where they showed the Left Behind movies, you know this is shown in these movies. God apparently has his whole plan laid out, in which the Antichrist is going to start a war against God. Also, God could show his power and defeat him in an epic battle at the end of time. Today we are living in a crazy time. We have a global pandemic. Israel and Palestine are once again fighting over land, and the Evangelicals are losing numbers left and right. All of these things happening at once makes many people in the church believe that this is the end. They believe people leaving the church is a sign of the end times, because they only want to hear good things in church and not the horrible things coming from the pulpit. Many think that some pastors will deceive people with false teachings. Prosperity gospel, anyone? The global pandemic has caused people to believe that this is a movement to take over people's rights. They think the ability to do anything will be based on the vaccination cards that they are giving out. When I was in the church, we were told in the end we were going to be given cards or marks, which would make it hard to buy or sell anything without them. Ironic, huh? We all have credit cards and phones, but people believe that this vaccine is the mark of the beast. And if you take it, then you're going to go to hell forever. For simply wanting to be healthy and keep others around you healthy, God is going to send you to hell. How does that make any sense? So why Israel? Israel, according to Christians, is on the side of the one true God. In the end, Christians believe that the Jews will finally figure out that Jesus is God and come back to him. This will set off a chain of events that will lead to the end of the world. Israel, of course, being where all this will take place. In order for us as a nation to prevail, we have to be on their side. If America goes against Israel, then we are playing into the devil's hand, and we will fail. We have to protect Israel in order to help God's plan play out in the end. Why do we have to do God's work? Isn't God supposed to be all-powerful and all-knowing? If God has this elaborate plan, can he not stop us from messing it all up? These are questions that many people do not ask. We need to look at this situation more critically. Living in the real world helps people see that all of this can be fixed. If people just put down their superstitious ideas and start seeing other people as people, then we can all work together to solve this real world problem. I might not know all the details surrounding it, but I know enough from history and from the religion that I was raised in to know that what is happening in the Middle East is not okay. America is backing a nation who hurts others simply for the fact that somehow they're going to fit into God's perfect plan in the end. If any other nation was doing this to another nation, America would have no problem swooping in and deciding that they're going to fix it. They want to be the saviors of the world. But when it comes to Israel, they turn their backs, and they pretend nothing is happening. Or they support an ally who only sees land and has no intention of helping other people. Christians fear the day when the world will come together and decide there's no reason for us to fight. They fear the very idea that we could globally live in harmony and help each other out. They see this as a bad thing. I was told growing up that the day that we start helping each other out and living as one species, Jesus is going to come back and deal with all the horrible heathens who just want to give everyone human rights and get rid of this idea of tribalism. This is a threat to everything Christians hold dear. Christians have to be separate from the world. If the world is getting along and everyone is helping one another, and there's no need for an in-group, out-group, then their entire world will crumble, because without need or vulnerability, the church would have nothing to prey upon. It would slowly make the church obsolete. Thus, the need for the end of the world. God has to send Jesus back to end this reliance on each other and have people put all their reliance on God. Then God can send the rest away to a place where they can never help anyone ever again. This is why religion is a plague. Instead of holding other nations accountable who do this to other nations, we just decide that we're going to turn a blind eye. We can always look to other nations and say, we're all people. We all matter. And fighting over something as trivial as land is not a good thing. This is affecting all people in that region, including babies, women, and children. America's ability to stay a productive and strong nation is to stand up to anyone who is willing to hurt other people and say enough is enough. Everyone deserves to have a life without fear, war, or worry. The only way this is going to change is if we stand up and let others know there are consequences for hurting other people. If you would like to join me and others in helping out with this conflict, you can donate to the Palestine Children's Relief Fund. The Palestine Children's Relief Fund was established in 1992 by concerned humanitarians in the U.S. to bring injured and sick children the free medical care they could not get locally. Since then, they have sent 2,000 sick and injured children for free medical care, as well as sponsored hundreds of volunteer medical teams from all over the world to treat tens of thousands of sick and injured youths in local hospitals. The Palestine Children's Relief Fund also has built 2 pediatric cancer departments in Palestine and has several more major programs and projects taking place to help support the development of a sustainable healthcare system there. They are a grassroots organization depending on the support of thousands of volunteers from all over the world to help them achieve their humanitarian mission. I will put a link below where you can go and donate. Being a humanitarian and atheist is actually doing something when people need help in hard times. And this is a time that I see a need. I will do my best to help others. I hope if you have any extra income, that you'll be able to give it to these kids. No child should ever feel like they cannot get help just because they're in a war zone. Hey friends, thanks for watching my video. Normally here I would tell you to support me any way you could, but right now I think those kids over in the Middle East need more support than I do. So go and donate to this. My goal for this is $2,000. Remember, only you can break out of the bubble and start thinking for yourself.